By the NPP and, of course, the minority in Parliament. If let me put it this way: are you asking the President not to respect the mandate given to him by the Constitution, because he is constitutionally bound to embark on this process once he has received these petitions?
Good morning to your viewers and everybody here, my co-panelists. I'm meeting them for the first time. And the lovely mischief that Suhini wants to start the morning off with. But I think that I want to give some historical context.
Very well.
You did, right after Kosi's submission, say that we have, in Ghana's history, a CJ has been removed before. And then he clarified by saying that not after the 1992 constitution was set up. So he's right. In 1960, Kwame Nkrumah took to remove the Chief Justice at the time because he believed that they had been complicit in letting go of the three top CPP leaders who he felt were behind the bomb, the bomb attack on his life. So remember, it was Terry Adamafio, Kofi Crab, and Akweje. And the Chief Justice at the time was Justice Akosua. So he got rid of him, and Ghana suffered its first notorious case of the removal of a Chief Justice in 1960. Subsequently, right after that, we inched to a one-party state. And when we got there too, he said he had to replace him, right? Ultimately, and he put in Sarkodie Ado in 1964. I'm putting the historical context because the understanding is that the first CJ, who was already there, didn't do his bidding by ensuring that the three were jailed, but they were acquitted. So he got rid of him by replacing him with Sarkodie Ado. Now General Champon comes, and then Justice Sarkodie, Justice Azukrab is also replaced. Who is he replaced by is a Chief Justice Fred Apalu. That's the history of it. I just want to put that in place because we have to come to what we are discussing today. Now, President Liman comes, and what does he do? There's a spirited attempt to also get rid of the CJ, but he wasn't successful because ultimately a coup happened. Now, President Rawlings, his founder and mentor in all the things that he championed, that yes, they love, yes. PNDC comes and they try as much as possible to somewhat reset what the AFRC had done. AFRC, don't forget, were notorious in executing people they felt had been complicit in corruption and control and state capture, amongst other things. So what did Rawlings do? Rawlings also felt that, you know what, ultimately I also have to appoint a Chief Justice. So subsequently in 1982, there was a famous case, Tufor versus Attorney General. And who was the lawyer at the time? Do you remember? No. The lawyer at the time was former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now, 1992 Constitution. Since 1992, we've had Kufuor himself appoint judges after a Chief Justice after President Rawlings has. We've had Nana Akufo-Addo also appoint a Chief Justice. In fact, Kufuor appointed 3. Nana Akufo-Addo also appointed 3. One.
For who?
The Supreme Court judges I'm referring to. Sophia Ekufu, Anan Enini Yabua, who hit retirement. Once you hit 70, you have to go. You know this. Then Tokono enters the charts. Now, with this history given, you notice that the Mills Mahama administration, which started off with Mills, and then the ultimate beneficiary being John Mahama, who benefited from the demise of President Atta Mills, did not have the opportunity to appoint their own Chief Justice. Now, in their history is embedded in them that for you to ultimately control the country, you have to do what?
Appoint a CJ?
Yes. Don't forget that.
Is that practical?
I've glossed over an important fact. In 1982, and when you go to the Supreme Court, you see that the bust of the lawyers, the High Court judges, and Major Akwa that are placed there. The lady Kranting Ado, you have our former General Secretary and 2024 presidential aspirant, Kwabena Jepong, whose father, Kojo Ejeyi Jepong, was murdered. Then you also have a third, Fred, I think, what's his name? It will come to me. So 3 of them killed.
Right.
Infamously killed. Why? Because it is assumed that they are the ones who are being corrupt or doing underhand things and subverting justice. Why was this done? It was to put fear in the judiciary and judiciary officers. It was to make them timid. It's no different from what we've seen since they came to power, where you see a national security operative who subsequently came to the national, who caught national attention by having an issue with the former Attorney General. So to create the impression and to let fear come into people's minds that, you know what, we mean business. So this reset is actually a revolution. It's a bloodless one at that, but it's still happening. Now, let's come to what he said, that the fact that it's a constitution, you have to look at it, you don't have to open and admire it. It doesn't also mean that once it's there, you have to activate it at all costs. What I've heard them push the most is something along the lines of she took a trip with her family. And it is simply not true. You know something? If I didn't even know her personally, and I've met her all of maybe 2 occasions in a social setting. 1 was official and 2 was a social event where she was there. She went to Wesley Girls High School. She's a very respected female lawyer, subsequently having risen through the ranks. There was no question about her principles. That was actually what makes her unique. And of course, her law and principles is rooted in religion. She's a strong Christian. And everything she does, she hopes to walk a fine path, and she's done that. This is somebody who even returned per diem. You want to tell us that she took her family, her husband, and her daughter on a trip. And you haven't even given. Confirmed. It is no, but it's.
We haven't seen the petition.
Listen, one of the things that we haven't seen the petition, but their spokespersons take to radio and TV outlets to paint this narrative that she went on a trip with their family and is against the rules and is against policy. First of all, there have been Supreme Court justices who were not married. But the provision was made that in the event that one is married, you get 1 free vacation that is paid for, and you get to go with your spouse or a relative. Is that a policy that she has to ignore just because she doesn't deserve it or something? No. But they made it seem as if that 1 trip is to characterize her as a greedy, insensitive person. But refusing to let us see what was really in the petition. She's responded to it along with evidence and everything. Yet these same people are hopping from radio station to radio station talking. Let me tell you something. People say that ultimately it's the EC they are gunning for. And you heard what he said. He said that the trunk, if we are to put the 3 arms of government in the trunk, he believes that the EC's office is ultimately the foundation. And if you knock it off, that in the way that Charlotte Osei suffered in 2018, then indeed, and that was wrong, then indeed we don't have any moral right to question why the CJ is also going through the process. First of all, we've said it again and again and again. Charlotte Osei's issue, unfortunate as it is, because look, I'll tell you on any given day, women in politics suffer. They suffer a lot. Give women in corporate government, in corporate governance who've risen to the top. It is lonely at the top, and almost always your peers, be it male or female, often don't even get their support.
Right.
So what he's saying is not that it is even her as a target per se. It's just the first domino effect on what they plan to do, which is the reset. And she's not ultimately the target, nor is EC the target. The EC will be a casualty, but ultimately it's the Supreme Court judges. So if they are standing by, folding their arms and saying that, oh, even the woman cry, she's not my friend like that, so let the chips fall where they may. They are coming for you. They will come for you. They will replace them with their own people because they believe that the people there will not do their bidding. Justice will be subverted. The conscience of this country can never live down what is happening today.
Very well.
So if the justification for him today is that Charlotte Osei and other things that happened is the reason why we cannot ignore a certain petition on the CJ. Allow us to also see what went into the petition, because all we have is snippets, and their own people is picking notes, hopping from radio station to radio
That's
station.
what they are running with, but
That's
we've not seen the petition officially.
We
So
haven't seen it, but
we can't base our
she has
discussion on that.
beautifully responded to it. But I'm saying,
Which response also we have not seen.
good. But I'm saying that this is somebody who can return per diem. Why do you want to tell us that she on a vacation? This is one of the things they said was mentioned. But I'm saying, and I'll repeat it, this is not a direct caught in the crosshairs, CJ and EC that are going to be the casualties. Supreme Court judges, they are coming for you. There are nooses around your neck. They will not do a bloody coup like in 1982. There's going to be a bloodless one. They are going to terminate your careers. They are going to throw you somewhere else that you will not even want to show up even to work. But they are coming for you. So this is the time to sit up. This is the time to do the right thing. Let's not be quiet. All these women groups and all these COSs have gone quiet because they feel that is MPP. It is easier to believe a lie told about MPP than it is to believe the truth about NDC. And this is them going back to their revolutionary roots, albeit a bloodless one.
Thank you. Let me speak to Kosi on this seeming secrecy around the removal process. Okay, we haven't seen the petition. The committee that's been set up, it's sitting, most likely will be in camera. So, I mean, it leaves room for some of these speculations, doesn't it?
Yes, it does leave room for speculation, but I think that the process has been put in that way in order that if, at the end of the day, the Chief Justice is exonerated, then her reputation or his reputation may not have been marred. So I think that there's wisdom in the process itself, because during the debate and the setting of the writing of the Constitution, people looked at all these issues and said, why should it be in camera? And I'm sure that they looked at it and said, look, assuming they're going through all these processes, it then ends up that the person is not guilty.
Yeah.
Then you don't end up marring the person's image in public.
But then you don't take the opportunity away from the public to be able to also make their own judgment on what is or what was or what wasn't.
Yes, there's a, in all of these processes, all our court, there are points where they say national security, let's go into camera. It isn't everything that should be put out there in public. And that is why I'm sure the writers of the framers of the Constitution put all these processes in place. So I will not look at it and say, no, so it is time to put everything in public. Maybe we may get there where we say, look, let's put things in public. But it's important that we do not over-politicize. These issues are coming out because we are over-politicizing every single thing in this country.
I agree.
Without looking at issues of what does it bring to the people of this country. We are not putting people's interests first. We are now beginning to politicize every single thing in this country. So that when issues come up into public domain, the first thing we ask is, which political party is behind this? Let's also take a defensive position. Let's do this. So for me, I think it is important that we look at these issues very dispassionately and ask the relevant questions, which is, there's a provision in the Constitution. Is it being violated? If it's not being violated, is it in the interest of the people? Because we all claim that justice must not only be done, but it must be seen to be done.
Yeah.
The question we need to ask, and there's been some public survey out there which says that a lot of people have lost trust in the judiciary system. In the same way, a lot of Ghanaians have lost trust in the political parties, in the political system as we have it, and democracy as we have it. So it is important that we begin to focus on the country as a whole, rather than taking our own parochial interest in political parties as though that is the end in everything. Yeah. So that we are running this country as though the most important thing is the next election. And that does not help this country at all. So professionalism and ethics has been thrown to the dogs.
Right.
So when people are expected to act professionally, they won't. And everybody is trying to play to the political whims and caprices of those in power. For me, these are the issues that we need to begin to critique as a people. We need to question our political leaders. On all these issues, we shouldn't just sit there, because a lot of us are now all bowing to political leaders and say, oh, this is fine, this is... It is wrong. It is completely wrong, and I think we need to look at these issues.
Hamza, I've seen a criticism of the composition of the committee. The argument here is that a certain judge should not be on that committee because of course, whatever interest they may have regarding the CJ and how that may influence or impact their work.
I don't think that it is supported by the law, because it is the Constitution that prescribes the nature of the committee and the individuals whom the president should consider in consultation with the Council of State in reaching a decision to form the committee. So it's a constitutional stricture, it's an injunction on the president to do as he has done. So I don't think that it should even surface as to whether indeed they will be balanced or not, because when it comes to the judges, they are expected to hold some level of integrity, especially when it comes to their work. So I trust that these judges will do just that, as far as our laws demand. But you see, my sister makes reference to the fact that the NDC is not comfortable because we are looking for an opportunity to appoint our own Chief Justice. You see...
Is that what you are doing?
Absolutely not. I am trying so hard. You see, since the beginning of this case, I have been trying so hard to resist the temptation or the invitation of the MPP to make it a political football, if you notice, from the onset. But from 1991 to 1995, Chief Justice Acha was the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. That was an NDC regime. It was the NDC that was in power. 95 to 2000, we had Justice Aban, another NDC person.
Yeah.
Indeed, I think it was only after 2001 that President Akosua got the opportunity to appoint his first Chief Justice. And remember, if the NDC was so much concerned about it, when we came into power in 2009, Justice Theodora Wood was the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. We had every opportunity then to have ousted her, especially considering the conduct of the judiciary with the Chachuchikata trial and the unethical interference of the President of the Republic then and our immediate past President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. But even we resisted the temptation to go on the tangent of vendetta to get Georgina Woods out. Indeed, President Mills worked with her and President Mahama continued.
So
that tells you.
Why get
that is the point I'm making. That tells you that when it comes to the NDC, when it comes to Ghana, our policies are not driven by vendetta or partisan interest. It is always about the national interest. So today, if you find the NDC president in the person of President Mahama, who has been given the nod to lead by the good people of this country,
but has never appointed a CJ.
Absolutely. We are not talking about the appointment of a CJ. I'm just giving you basis that the NDC had every opportunity to have appointed one.
Yeah.
Even when the opportunity was more inviting, we didn't take it. How much more now?